All right, JoeyRitter.com, on Twitter at Joey Ritter. Fantastic guest today. I got Roger Lima, bassist, vocalist from the band Less Than Jake, and guitarist and vocalist from the band Rehasher. Roger,
Well,
thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
no problem. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming into my Pez collection room and checking it out. That's awesome.
I hope you can share one or two with us later in the interview. That'd be great.
I could do that. Yeah, for sure.
Think about what you what you want to show, and we'll get to it. So you guys have been around Less Than Jake for 20 years, and I'm sure you've talked about that ad nauseum. But you know, when you're touring now, you're touring with young bands that I'm sure are coming up to you saying like, "Hey, you know, I used to listen to you guys all the time. I grew up on Less Than Jake." So what I want to know is, 20 years ago when you guys were starting out, who was that band for you that you went up to and said that to?
Oh, I mean, easily for me, it's always been the Descendents. I mean, that was like a band when I was in high school that I was like a complete geek over. And as the band started going, and we finally like got to meet those guys and play shows with them. Like after we were a band for 5 years, and we were touring with the Descendents, you know, and that like completely blew my mind. There was a band called Skank and Pickle from San Francisco that was kind of like in that like sort of ska world right around 92, 93 when we started. And yeah, I was really kind of nerdy around those guys because I love their records too.
Right. Well, it makes sense that you're a Descendents fan. Do you think Carl's bass playing kind of had an influence on your style today?
I think so. I mean, he's like relentless, you know, like the bass line just doesn't stop coming at you, and it's like the more stuff he could get in there, the better. And I definitely love that aggressive sort of side of the bass playing. I mean, between him, Carl Alvarez, and Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, those are the two guys that I pull any kind of bass playing like vibe from. Because really, I never played bass until I met the guys in Less Than Jake. I was a guitar player in high school and all that. So it's kind of like those are definitely the two guys for me.
Do you remember the first song you learned on guitar?
Oh man, no, I don't think I do. But it was more than likely it was like something Metallica, like Master of Puppets. Like that was my scene in high school.
Oh wow, that's pretty good for you know, early playing. Now, Roger, you seem like a guy who's happy pretty much 100% of the time. Chris, on the other hand, seems like a guy who's angry 100% of the time. Do you guys think you're, you know, the yin yang of each other and complement each other pretty well in that sense?
I mean, I know what you're saying. In a way, yeah. I mean, Chris is like, we're like the twin brothers that never were, you know. We get along great, but we're like really different kinds of people. I'm like very patient and relaxed, and you know, it's all good. And Chris is very frantic and like, you know, got to get this thing done right now. Right. And he's very like spur of the moment, and I kind of plan things out a little more. So yeah, we're definitely a little polar opposite at times.
Right, and it totally comes across on stage too. I don't know if you know that, but now I apologize in advance for this story because it's like a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. But basically, you guys were playing at the TLA on South Street in Philly around 2006, and you know, played this great show. And then there was a club a couple blocks down called Club 218. It was a great place. It doesn't exist anymore. And I went with the friends that I was at with the show, and we're shooting pool. And in walks you and Buddy, and you know, you guys are just hanging out, just shooting pool, like right next to us. I'm like, I want to go up to him and say, good show, and, you know, these are my favorite songs and stuff. But, like, you know, usually when you have that conversation, you want to be done with it, you know, right afterwards. So I decided to say nothing. And, you know, you're just shooting pool. And then, you know, eventually I walked around and I had to get a shot. And you were standing kind of with your back toward me. And I just tapped you on the back and I was like, hey, do you mind if, could you move a little bit so I can get my shot in? And I'm just like, I can't believe I just asked Roger from Less Than Jake to get out of my way so I can make a pool shot.
Well, at least you didn't ask me to sign your pool cue or something.
But yeah, I had to share that one with you. Now, speaking of clubs in Philly, are you partial to any club in particular?
You know, it's been a while since we played at the Electric Factory, but we always had a really good time there. I mean, it's kind of a bigger place, but the vibe in there was always awesome. But yeah, we've been doing the TLA pretty often, and it's, you know, it's good because you can kind of like go crazy there. It's not like too nice where it's going to get hurt. Like it can handle it. So I'm very comfortable there, man. It's a good spot.
Right. And you remember playing at the Trocadero? I know I saw you guys there with Blink-182 way back in the day.
Yeah, we've done the Troc a few times over the years. I mean, it's you know, it's a good vibe. It's fun, man. It's right there. You're right in the middle of everything, so you can go to a bar afterwards and stuff.
Right.
It's cool.
Now, when you write songs, how do you kind of decide what material you're going to use for Less Than Jake and Rehasher?
Yeah, that's like sort of an impossible to answer question in a way. It's the Rehasher thing. At first, it started out with like, we were friends and we kind of had this idea of the kind of songs we wanted to do, like as my like side thing. But it's kind of evolved into sort of taking some of the songs that I write that just don't fit into that Less Than Jake pile. I think at some point when I'm working on the song or I have an idea for a song, I kind of like come to the conclusion of, this could work for this situation, or this could be like a Less Than Jake song,
Okay.
It kind of depends, and then the lyrical side matters too. Sometimes when I write a song, like I have no idea what the heck it's about or what I'm going to say, but sometimes some lyrics come to mind, and you kind of have a direction for the song. And so Vinny is the main lyricist in Less Than Jake. So I mean, yeah, we all write parts here and there, but a lot of he names all the songs, and the concepts are usually his and that kind of thing. So, if I have some lyrical idea of something I want to say and it kind of fits in with the music that I'm working on, then it'll kind of fall into this Rehasher pile.
Right.
And that pile has been kind of stacking up lately. I have like a bunch of songs with like, half-written lyrics and ideas and stuff that are kind of starting to get piled up and like starting to like asking me to get recorded. So
well, that's a good problem to have though, Roger.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now you guys have so many fan favorites, songs that maybe fans would be disappointed if they didn't hear at a live show. Who's the guy that kind of takes charge of the set lists?
Well, it feels like, when we're going to do a tour for like a whole year, like last year we did the 20th anniversary, the set list varied here and there, but the majority, the 10 or 12 songs is the same every time, and like that was like the songs for the year. So honestly, Chris has a lot to do with the set list. He's kind of it's kind of like one of the jobs that we can give him that we know that he won't totally screw up. And, it's like, it's a good thing. It's like
right.
Kind of like try to spread it out a little bit. And we always try to play a little bit of the newer material that we're working on. But it's kind of like, you can't go see, I don't know, you can't go see Billy Joel and he doesn't play like Uptown Girl. You know what I mean? Like we got to play the hits to some degree.
Sure.
So a lot of it is that. But, like a song like Motown Never Sounded So Good is an older song. It was on Anthem over 10 years ago, but we never really played it live until last year. We just kind of brought that one kind of out of the closet. So,
no, it's always good, especially like when you're so familiar with the band's catalog, to see them play those wild card songs are always cool. So I've got 2 fan questions here.
All right.
And DDRU12 on Twitter wants to know, why do you stand on your tippy toes when you sing? Do you even do that?
I do that, and I've always done that, and I honestly don't have a good answer for that. I think it's like when the moment comes and I'm playing and I'm on stage and I'm just trying to get like completely ready to deliver that vocal as hard as I can, that I just kind of naturally like stand on my toes and just like get all that energy like up as far as I can. Like I've always kind of done that, and it's been 20 years, so I'm not the youngest dude ever. So like sometimes my feet will be like, "What are you doing standing on your toes for an hour and a half?" So I have to consciously be like, "Okay, like stand flat on your feet and try to be in a comfortable stance," But yeah, this is something that just happens, and I never really noticed that I did that until someone else noticed that I did that.
Right.
So.
Second question is a little bit philosophical, and it says, would you rather have 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
Ooh. If I had 100 of them, I could put like 50 of them on eBay, and that could pay my mortgage for a while. So I would probably take the quantity over the size. Yeah, I'll take the 100 little ones. That's pretty awesome.
I agree with that answer. At first, I wanted the 1 horse-sized duck, but I was picturing more like a Donald duck and not like a duck you'd see in a stream or something. So, yeah, I agree with the 100 horses. Now, Warped Tour 1997, that was when I first saw you guys. It was like the stars perfectly aligned that day. The guy who was driving us to Warped Tour, was playing Losing Streak on the way there. You guys played...
That's the first year we did the Warped Tour, was 97, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like the summer of ska. You had the Bosstones, Real Big Fish, so it was, just a perfect storm happening. And you guys played pretty early in the day, close to when doors opened. So, I just heard your CD for the first time that you guys come out. You had the sticker guy throwing the stickers and stuff into the crowd. I remember you had like a 7-year-old kid do the swear part at the end of Jen Doesn't Like Me Anymore. I mean, so it was so awesome. Do you think that tour in particular kind of, propelled you guys from playing in front of 100 kids to thousands of kids?
Definitely. I mean, if anything, it put us like on a list of bands that at the time, we were all of a sudden we were playing on the stage with the Descendents were on that year, and the bands like the Suicide Machines and things like that. We were like on this equal level with them all of a sudden, and we definitely played to tons of new people on a tour like that, and we always try to take advantage of stuff like that. We tried to make a complete skeptical of it. We had like on that tour we had like dudes come out like just with nothing but assless chaps and like crowd surfing and like we tried to like make kind of a scene about it so that you remember more than just the songs. You remember the antics and the jokes and the stuff in between. So yeah, man, I mean for sure like that was really right around the time we were just on Capitol Records. We just had our first record come out on the major and we were definitely feeling like that. Oh my God, like we're getting really popular. Like this is crazy. Like everything's snowballing. Like
right.
For me like I dropped out of college to be in Less Than Jake in '92, and it took a few years there to kind of like get things settled down. But when we finally were like, oh, we're gonna make a record for Capitol Records, and my mom was like, oh my God, the Beatles were on Capitol Records. That's when we like around the time when we were like, wow, we made it. Like can't believe that we made this record losing streak. It was amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, so back then there were two main stages, maybe a couple local stages. And now, I'm not really asking you to compare how it is now to how it was then, but it's like, a band like you who was a little bit unknown at the time versus a band now, like, do they have that same opportunity to break through? Because there's like triple the amount of stages, triple the amount of bands. Does it just get saturated?
It feels like that. Like when you're there, and if you don't know one of the younger bands, you really have to make an effort to go see them. It's not like quite as much like in your face. But it's not even just the Warped Tour. It's like the internet and everything. There's just more bands now that have their stuff out there. So it's harder to filter through everything to find that band that you like or to find something to connect with. I think we were like at the end of like the best era of being in a band. We were touring in a van without cell phones. It was before people like used that kind of technology to promote themselves. So we were still like making flyers and making paper stickers and sticking them on cop cars, like doing what we could to get our name out there. But yeah, that was a perfect chance to get in front of new people. I think it would be really difficult to be in a band now. The music really has to be what propels you because everyone has a cool website. Everyone has a MySpace page. Everyone has a video. You know what I mean?
MySpace page. What's that?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like music. Well, MySpace, I don't know. They got a lot of music on MySpace. You'd be amazed.
Yeah, I have to give it a second look. I got to get back.
Yeah, now, they redid it. I don't work for them. I'm just saying. It's not that bad.
I hear you.
I just want to listen to music. It's not bad.
Now, I have my question list right here, and you probably can't come through, but I actually have, what is your most prized Pez dispenser?
Oh, all right. Well, okay, so my thing is like, if it's pre-1980 and it doesn't have feet on it and it's a vintage Pez dispenser, it's usually not the cheapest thing in the world, but I did kind of go crazy on those for a while. And my most prized one, I'll share with you. My mom actually gave it to me for my 25th birthday, but he's over here somewhere. And this is known as the Psychedelic Eye, and it's from the 1960s. And wow. This is not a remake. This is an original footless 1960s Pez dispenser. And yeah, that's the one right there. That's my fave. That's the prize of my whole collection for me.
That's pretty outstanding. That would probably scare me as a kid, but now it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Awesome. All right, it's got to go back up. Here we
go. All right. Now, Roger, before I let you go, we do something here on JoeyRitter.com called Turn It Up or Turn It Off. I'm going to name you 5 songs. Very simple. You tell me if you turn it up or turn it off.
All right. Now I'm picky, so don't expect much from me here. Sorry to the bands I'm about to bum out. But
no, it's fine. These are safe bets here. All right. So your first song is "Hey Ya" by Outkast.
Yeah, that's not my scene. I would be flipping the channel quickly.
Okay. Second song is "Let's Get Rocked" by Def Leppard.
Well, I have to say, Def Leppard, it's kind of like my Nickelback. Like, it's like, it's good stuff. It's kind of hard to admit that you enjoy it, but I enjoy some Def Leppard, so I would probably crank that to 11.
Yeah, that came up in the shuffle as I was changing diapers this morning, so that's why that made the list. Third song is "Hot for Teacher" by Van Halen.
Oh, come on. You got to blast "Hot for Teacher."
No question.
There's nothing about David Lee Roth. He can do no wrong in my eyes, man. David Lee Roth, he's a god. He's a god.
Now, have you followed his second stint with Van Halen? You know, the album that just came out?
I have not. I heard about it, but I actually have not heard any of the music from it. Are you recommending it?
Yeah, I do. It's worth the listen, especially if you're a Roth fan. And if you listen, track number 2 was actually a song that they wrote for Van Halen 2 that didn't make the album. They recorded it, you know, in 2011 whenever it came out. And it sounds like, you know, exactly that time period. It's really good. I wasn't too impressed with the single that came out, so I wasn't excited, but I bought the album. I listened to it all the way through. It's worth a listen.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
All right, 4th song, Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic.
Well, you know, I don't know. If maybe like if my wife is like dancing on the dance floor with some friends of hers or something, I would let it ride for a while, and that might be fun. But if I'm driving by myself in my truck on the way to the grocery store, it's not going to stay on.
Okay. All right, last song is Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, that's sorry, Miley. I mean, good luck with spending all your money that you're making, but I don't get it.
All right, I couldn't get the guilty pleasure song out of you, but that's fine.
Well, no, I mean, if you had thrown in like a Katy Perry or something, I might have fessed up.
See,
but
but that's the same thing to me. I mean, you know,
it's more pop versus it's the countryside of it. Where I'm like, I don't know.
I hear you. Hey, Roger, I really appreciate you doing the show. People find you on Twitter at @LessThanRaj, and that's RAJ, right?
Correct.
All right, I appreciate it. Have a good one now.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You got it.